And so when I say Chinese, I want you to scream out the nation that's associated with this. For example, if I say Chinese, you're going to say what?
China.
All right, let's say it with authority. When I say Chinese, you say what? China. All right, that's just a test right there. So here we go. Chinese.
China.
Russian.
Russia.
Italian.
Italy.
German.
Germany.
Swedish.
Sweden.
Korean.
Korea.
Egyptian.
Egypt.
Nigerian.
Nigeria.
Black.
Exactly. Tell him, Pastor. Tell him, Pastor. Black, nothing.
I hope you were able to successfully identify the issue.
I'm so glad you're here because you can bring great clarity. Can you tell us a little bit about the Sephardic Jews and how they were scattered because they went west?
I sure can.
Because the reason why I want to is because a lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, are in the Caribbean.
They are.
In the islands.
And you're one of them. I know that.
I'm one of them.
I know that.
Because, you know, a lot of folk don't know that those roots are there. One of the first batches of slaves that came to Jamaica, they were the Sephardic Jews. It's documented.
And they're all over the Caribbean,
over the Caribbean,
South America, Central America, and even the South Central United States.
Wow.
And DNA testing is a factor in all this now.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you. If you repeat this fact, they can't laugh at you.
Want to say peace and blessings, everyone. Hope all is well. I know that this is kind of another one of those unscheduled playbooks. My schedule's been so hectic, so it's been hard for me to plan these in advance, and I do plan on doing playbooks on the two lectures that I presented. So I'm going to try to do the playbooks on those this Saturday night and have a special guest on to discuss the information. But tonight, I want to discuss the video, right? The clips that I shared earlier in one of the clips that I've been playing for a while. And I'm going to keep playing the clip, not the one that, of course, not the modified portion of it, but about KRS-One, how he flipped. You know, I was surprised. And before we get into that, I'll explain it in a moment. But let me give some shout outs here to you guys here. Then we get right into it. Let me give some shout outs here. Let's see here. I want to say peace and blessings to Darnell Blackshear. Peace and blessings to Mr. The Original. Yaban Haya Nabaya. I want to say peace and blessings to you. Miss Yvette Riviera. I want to say peace and blessings to you. Or Rivera, excuse me. Inspired Identity, peace and blessings to you. Top Shelf, want to say peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you out there in Las Vegas. Been a while since I've been to Las Vegas. When I was in the Air Force, I had to do a few TDYs out there at Nellis Air Force Base. So I know the area, and peace and blessings to you, brother. And I appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule to tune in to this live here. Appreciate you. I want to say peace and blessings to Victor Wheatley in bed. Hey, understand. I know it's getting kind of late for some, but I'm going to do this late night playbook for those that really are up late, and those that want to listen to something during their work tomorrow, when they at work, or going about their daily schedule. Just give them some rich information. But I appreciate you for tuning in. Stacy Pullen, want to say peace and blessings to you. Mario Yashua Forever, want to say shalom to you. Jason Camphor, want to say shalom to you as well. CB, peace and blessings to you as well. Tiffany Moore, peace and blessings to you. Angie Love Yah, peace and blessings to you. Mr. The Original, want to say greetings to you, peace and blessings to you. Let's see here. Sunshine and Soul, want to say peace and blessings to you. So happy I caught this live. Been replaying the last clip of KRS-One all day. Excited to hear your thoughts. Shalom, Pastor Kelly and family. Really appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. And initially I was going to wait for next week to address it, but I want to go ahead and address it tonight. So thank you again, sis, for tuning in tonight. And so we're just going to go ahead right in it. I think I got everyone here. I see a couple more names popping up. I want to say peace and blessings to Jazzman. All right. I think I got everyone. Actually, FM Stokes, I'm going to say peace and blessings to you, my brother. Got to get you on here. Let me know how your schedule is looking. All right. I mean, Whitfield, peace and blessings to you. But yeah, Stokes, got to get you on here. Want to definitely kind of do like a session, a listening session on some of your material, and introduce you to some that may not know or be aware of your works. You're doing a great work. Appreciate you. Urban Royalty Atlanta, want to say shalom to you as well, my brother. Hope all is well with you. Let's see here. Indy Russell, want to say peace and blessings to you as well. So yeah, family, in a nutshell, I'm going to share with you the clips, but I want to make this clear. I'm not trying to question anyone's character or anything like that. That's not the whole purpose of this, but to give clarity to those that may have been confused about what they heard. Right. So in a nutshell, right, you guys saw the initial clip that I played with KRS-One, going in. Right. And I'm going to play that clip. But matter of fact, I want to play this clip first. This is the initial clip, right, that really, caught a lot of attention, right? And actually, the initial clip is with the Mike Epps and KRS-One discussion, right? And the video is on my main page, and got a lot of views off of it. Especially with KRS-One, explained it to Mike Epps the origins of the word niggas, right? And showing that it didn't mean what he thought it meant, right? He had to, pretty much in a nutshell, like I said, he went through the history of the word nigga.
Nigga.
He went through the word niggas.
Nigger.
And I took it a step further and went through the word Hebrew word nagad.
Nigga.
Right. So, and just for those that are not familiar with it, let me play the Hebrew or the Greek pronunciation of the word, just so that way you understand it's not a negative word. Let me play it real quick.
Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger. Strong's G 3526. Niger. Niger.
All right. So I was really surprised because when I was able to get this clip that I'm going to share, that I shared earlier, but that clip right? That audio, right? That verse is from KRS-One's second album, right? And the name of the song is "Why Is That?" And I remember it. You know what I mean? I remember that song, right? And I remember we, me and my friends, brothers, all of us, we were going nuts over that because KRS-One went from criminal minded, and then to this here, he just went into straight education. He had "You Must Learn." So with that being said, in that Omar Epps video, if you go to the end of that video, it's about a 10-minute video on this page, you will hear the original song. You'll hear the original verse, not the entire verse. I just chopped it down to what you hear as far as the verse that you hear inside the clip. So in the original verse, he made it clear that the Egyptians enslaved Israelites. Of course, he said black Israelites, right? Which can be an oxymoron, but I understood why he said that because of the perception of what many believe that the ancient Israelites are Caucasians. So I understand why he had to say that, right? And so on the "You Must Learn," right, that particular cut, he also mention again that the Egyptians enslaved Israelites, right? So you'll hear him make that type of reference a few times. And I have some clips from his old concerts back in the 90s that I was going to upload with him going in, showing and rapping about how the Bible is whitewashed and that how it needs to get back to the original people, right? So I may still upload it, but I was really taken back because many of you guys saw the initial clip, and right, it was forwarded to me. And so I was like, man, where's the entire show? Where's the entire show? I would like to have the entire show. So I began to research and try to see if I can get that clip, right? The full video rather, and couldn't, Sister Carol, she tried to do it or go through Instagram. She was looking on Instagram. I was looking and others are looking and just could not find it. Well, I decided to take some time off yesterday. When I say time off, take time out of my schedule yesterday. And I was like, let me put a couple of hours into this thing and research, see if I could find, if not that, but at least find a concert of him doing that performance. And it was hard. You don't see any. It's hard to find a conference, not conference, but a performance with him actually giving or doing that song. You don't really find any, him performing live performances, any shows of him doing that song. Not just that song, some of his other stuff that was very educational, right? So I found that kind of odd, but then again, not surprised. So make a long story short, I came across the Baltimore concert, right? I came across that performance that he had given, and I was, to my surprise, because I was putting the clip together, when I heard him say that and you could even see hear the confusion by the crowd, right? It caught me by surprise. So initially I was going to wait a week to upload it, but then again, I was like, hey, let me just go ahead and do it right now. And so that's why you hear that video clip in its entirety. So they are two different performances. I want to make that clear. So let's play the initial one, and then I'll play the second one, and we'll do a playbook off of it. We'll get started. Here we go. Let's see here. Here's the clip that you guys are familiar with that I've been playing.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.
All right, so that's the original clip, right? Well, that's put it this way, that was one of the performances that I uploaded, the initial one. And I want to make it clear, pay attention to the scenery. Remember, in the clip I just played, he had on a black hat. The stage is set up completely different, right? So I want you to pay attention to that. So it's not the same performance. And I can now kind of see why we don't see the full portion of that. Maybe the person that recorded it at that particular concert, maybe that they were caught by surprise and chose not to play that portion of it because it cuts off, right? The full clip that I have of that, it cuts off. It cuts off at a certain point. So that's, you don't hear the entire verse. So maybe that's why the person who initially uploaded it on Instagram decided not to put that portion in it because what he probably was in the crowd was taken by surprise, but really wanted to show that or let you hear that first portion of the clip, which is, very, very important. And also I wanted to say this real quick because I know that you always have that handful of people that say, hey, we shouldn't be looking to celebrities for answers and all this other stuff. Lose me with that. That's not what we do on this platform, right? The reason why you hear me uploading different people that are in the entertainment industry, making it clear that they are Israelites or make reference to it is to show and let those who are not familiar see that this awakening is much bigger than what you can ever imagine. This awakening is beyond the confines of the street corners or the assemblies and the church, the discussions, the church and all that. No, it's into the celebrity, among the celebrities, many of the entertainers, right? It's among them. So I don't look to KRS-One or any of these guys as a leader of myself to get answers from. And I don't think anyone here that I've come across do that as well. You may use them for reference or use a situation, something they may have said and use it as a teachable moment. But no, I'm not pressed to try to look to them for solutions. Because yes, I don't agree with what KRS-One said, but there's plenty of people that are not celebrities per se that said far worse. And we're dealing with a lot of brothers and sisters that are saying far worse than what KRS-One has said, right? So with that being said, I just want to make clear the air. But let me show you this other clip so that way you can really see that this is different. And actually, you can see a little bit because this is the backdrop here. Two different performances. All right. So let me go ahead and play this clip is actually two clips I'm going to play. But this is the first half of the first part of the clip. Let me play it right now. Here we go.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this fact, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham, born in the city of a black man called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Cain. Here, let me do these claims. Abraham was the father of Isaac was the father of Jacob has 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel.
All right, so you see the stage is different, red lighting, his name is on the stage. I mean, it's a completely different location. All right, so he's in Baltimore in this. So let me play the other part, the second part to this clip, and then I'm going to give a refresher just for those that, just in case those that are watching are not familiar with the term Cushite, Cushi. For those that are not familiar with that, it is a slang, right? The term Cushi is used interchangeably with the word nigger, right? And we already been through it, proving that the word nigger, the origin of it, and KRS-One did a great lecture on that, which I have uploaded here, showing that the word nigger is not originally was not a derogative term. It meant kings and kings of kings, right? But really kings. And from a Hebraic perspective, I took that and ran with it and went even further with it to show that it's Nagad, or in the primitive root, Nagid, and it means governor, it means leader, it means king. So let me play this other portion of the clip, and then we get into the actual things I'm going to cover, the teaching.
According to Genesis chapter 10, Egyptians descended from Ham. 600 years later, my brothers, read up. Moses is born in Egypt. In this era, black Egyptians weren't right. They enslaved black Cushites. Moses had to be of the black race because he spent 40 years in Pharaoh's place. He passed as the Pharaoh's grandson, so he had to look just like him. Yes, my brothers and sisters, take this here song. No, correct or wrong. The information we get today is just, but ask yourself.
Now, if you listened closely, and I'm going to play it one more time. If you listen closely, you'll hear people saying in the background, whoa. You know, normally when he put that microphone out, or when he say get to that part, the whole crowd would scream out Israel, right? Or Israelites. But you notice that they were completely silent in terms of, they didn't respond to that, but you hear them in the background though saying, whoa, whoa, you hear confusion. Totally different, right? When they all said Israelite in the first clip, in the first half of this clip that I shared. So I'm gonna share it with you one more time. If you guys have earphones, listen closely. Don't turn the volume up too loud. Don't want to damage your ears, but listen to this real carefully. I'm gonna play it one more time.
According to Genesis chapter 10, Egyptians descended from Ham. 600 years later, my brothers, read up. Moses is born in Egypt. In this era, black Egyptians weren't right. They enslaved black Cushites. Moses had to be of the black race because he spent 40 years in Pharaoh's place. He passed as the Pharaoh's grandson, so he had to look just like him. Yes, my brothers and sisters, take this here song. No, correct or wrong. The information we get today is just, but ask yourself.
So you hear in the background people saying, whoa, it sounds like you even hear a few boos there, right? Family, unfortunately, this is what happens. You know, this is what happens a lot among our community, right? And I heard one of his lectures a little while back, and he was explaining, and I'm not going to get into it, but when he started explaining how they are paid, right? How things begin to shift, how they get paid, how artists get paid, especially like himself and others get paid. And when I heard that, I was like, okay, all right. Oh, pretty interesting. I may even share it later on, but not tonight. But now once I came across this clip, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Because initially I said, wait a minute, you know what? Maybe, I didn't hear it correctly. Maybe he just said Cushite, trying to say, hey, the Egyptians enslaved blacks, right? I was like, let me listen to this again. And then when I heard him say black Cushites, and you see how he placed the point of emphasis to really drill it home, force the narrative. So one breath you say that you point to the people saying these are the children of Israel. And then in the next breath, you say that the Egyptians enslaved black Cushites. That right there said that was like a done deal, because I'm going to go through this lesson here. You guys going to remember some of this. It's going to be a refresher to some of you guys, but it's fine. That's why the Most High told Moses to rehearse in Joshua's ear the situation of what what's his name, Amalek, the King Amalek, and what he and his people had done to Israel when they was making that transition coming out of Egypt, going to the Promised Land, and they decided to attack them. Right? He told them rehearse it in their ears. Rehearse it, rehearse what took place. Right. So I'm saying all of this to say is that we have to, I'm doing a lot of these lessons that may overlap just so that way it rehearse in your ears. It's rehearsing. You remember these things. You don't forget these things. You know how to teach these things. But when I heard him say that, I was like, come on, KRS-One, come on, man. Why are you going to do that? Now I could have easily just not played the video, the clips that you have, because I know it would have been hard for anyone to find those clips. You would have to put hours of your time looking for it. But I'm a person of integrity. I'm a man of integrity. I was like, well, let me play it. Let me upload it and let me allow you guys to hear and use it as a teachable moment. All right. So yeah, initially, I'm not going to lie to you. Probably when I initially uploaded it, I changed the title a few times. Initially, I put Nick Cannon, right, with an ED at the end. But I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not going to insult him. I'm not going to throw any insults like that. I'm just going to keep it simple. But he did switch up. He did switch up. He did do a switcheroo. And what surprised me the most is, knowing how thorough he is. How educated he is. And then for him to do a switcheroo like that, especially knowing he understands what the word negus, Negus means, right? He knows what it means. Negus, Ethiopian, right? Which transliterates to kings. I want to say peace and blessings. I want to say thank you for, let's see here, Clayvon Smith. I want to say peace and blessings. Thank you for the gift. Really appreciate you. For the contributions to this platform. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. Thank you again. And everyone, let's show some love to Clayvon Smith. Let's show some love to him. All right. Really appreciate it. So, like I said, family, it's not surprising. And I'm going to upload Dr. Claude Anderson. I may do that. Have that play for this upcoming Shabbat. Let you hear his lecture that he did, especially when he started dealing with contradictory behaviors and how our people always had a habit of undermining ourselves. Always want to undermine those that are trying to break free of the delusions. So I may upload that. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and get into this here. Let me go ahead and maximize this screen here. Let me maximize this here. All right. And family, let's be respectful. Let's not call any names or anything like that. Let's just be the examples. Let's be the examples of being the people that the Most High called us to be. We are a kingdom of priests. Every last one of you, guess what? As Israelites, we are a kingdom of priests. So we are a part of all connected to the priesthood. Right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Did the Egyptians enslave Black Cushites? And just that the label itself is an oxymoron, especially when you understand what Cushite is, what it means. Just like saying Black Israelites or Black Hebrew Israelites, using that label, even though that label was created by those that always that have been or made it a point to come at our community, right? Because those that have awakened don't refer to themselves as being Black Hebrew Israelites, because we know that that's an oxymoron. black Israelites. So black Cushites, guess what? That is an oxymoron, because you understand the word Cushi or Cushi, right? Or Cush, right? We understand that refers to what? Dark skin. So this is an oxymoronic statement. All right. So why did KRS-One shift? I'm not going to get into all of that. He has his own reasonings for why he shifted. I would love to interview him. I definitely would love to interview him. If anyone that's close to him knows him, I would love to interview him. I would love to just have him explain why he switched the way he switched, why he, used that black Cushite in replacement for black Israelites. I'm just curious of that. All right. So let's go to Numbers, family. Chapter 12, verse 1. Some of you guys are going to remember this, but I want to give you a refresher. This is from Bible study lessons that I've done in our assembly. Did a whole commentary on the book of Numbers, chapter by chapter. So we did one on chapter 12, and it's far more extensive than what you're going to see here. But I just want to use part of it because it's three things that I highlight out of this particular chapter, just this one chapter. But for the sake of this presentation, we're just going to deal with one of them. Starting at verse 1, and Miriam, Mariam, and Aaron, Aharon, spake unto Moses, Mashah, because of the Ethiopian, Kashayath, or Kashyath, woman, Asha, whom he had married, Lakach, for he had married an Ethiopian woman, right? Kashayath, or some would drop the tha and say Kashai, which transliterates Cushi, right? But either way, whether you say Kashayath, or if you just say Kashai, right? Either way, but you guys know who I'm referring to. So this would be the primitive that we're going to deal with, Kashai, right? Or Kash, or Cushi. All right. But anyway, so let me read this again. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. So did Miriam and Aaron have an issue with Moses' wife skin complexion? I want to ask you guys that question. And you guys could put the comments inside the comment section. Did Aaron, right, Miriam and Aaron have an issue with the skin complexion of Moses' wife? If you believe that they did, yes, type yes. If you believe that it wasn't about skin complexion, type no. Right? That's right. Dorsey Love, I like the brother KRS-One, celebrity or not, and again, he's done a lot of work. Out of all for the most part, the rappers of this time, they're not putting in that type of work. So I give him credit for being bold in his stance. That's why, knowing how he went against BET and all those different things and never got recognized for his accomplishments because of his stance. And then to kind of see him shift kind of caught me by surprise. So I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not here to bash him or nothing like that, but I am here to talk about how he switched, just like I would do anyone else. So appreciate you, Dorsey Lowe. Absolutely. So Hershey, Hershey Coco said no. Lachelle Patterson, no. Ernest Higgs, no. You Love Ya, no. Let's see here. I believe that S. Edwards, no. Yvette Rivera, no. Let's see who else. All right. Peace and blessings to CC. And I thought I saw somebody give Jay Highstyle a shout out. I want to say peace and blessings to my buddy Jay Highstyle. Got to get you up on here. And Jay, give me a call too. Want to talk to you. Haven't talked to you in a little bit. Let's talk offline. Sunshine and Soul said not sure. We're gonna answer the question. Let's see here. His shift is suspect. Okay. Jazzman, no. Let's see here. Omar Judah, definitely no. All right, got a couple more answers. So for the most part, I want to say 99.9, everyone says no. All right. Melva Kingsale says no. All right. So let's go ahead and answer this question. Let's answer this question. What is the biblical Israelite skin complexion? Matter of fact, before I answer this question, because I don't think I put this in here, I'm going to set the tone with this one thing here. Let me copy this over here. Let me see. I want to, whenever I do certain presentations, especially when I am dealing with skin complexion, I like to use this source here. Some of you guys probably remember when I did this source. When I used this source for when I did the lesson, anything but the Negro, and I'm going to use it here. All right. So let me bring it over here real quick, and I'm going to read it real quick as we progress here. All right. I'm going to just give you a couple of passages here. Well, not a couple of passages. I'm just going to read from this particular source here. All right. Let me bring it up on your screen. Let's see here. All right. This is coming from the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, 1915. Notice what it says, because unfortunately, family, we have to stop pushing this narrative that Esau is the white man. We have to stop pushing that narrative. Esau, when you teach this lesson or teach that Esau is the white man per se, then you say all white people are Hebrews, because Jacob and Esau and Jacob, they were Hebrews, both of them Hebrew. The Edomites are Hebrews. Esau, right, was not a non-melanated person. He was melanated. What made him stand out is the fact that he was hairy. See, when, unfortunately, many, when they see that term red, they think of white. No, that's not what ruddy means. I'm not going to go to the details of it, but as you see here, right, ruddy, it says this here. Ruddy is the form taken by the adjective red when used as a term of praise of the human skin. And this is its use in the Bible. So let me read that first part of it again, just so that way you guys can understand, because this is telling you that, when you see the term ruddy, it is the form taken by the adjective red, right? And notice what it says here. It says, when used as a term of praise of the human skin. But it didn't stop there. And this is its use in the Bible. Pay attention. This is its use in the Bible. For all those that want to say that, hey, you know what? The white man wrote the Bible. For those that want to push that narrative, because why would they put this word in here? Why would they even come up with this International Standard Bible Encyclopedia, 1915? We didn't write this, but notice what it says here, right? And this is its use in the Bible. You see where it says Hebrew and Greek words are all usual words for read or to be read. But notice what it says here. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. Let me read it one more time. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. Can I say it again? The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. Let me read it from the beginning. Ruddy is the form taken by the adjective red when used as a term of praise of human skin. Praise. So praise of the human skin. And this is its use in the Bible. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. One more time. The dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. Right? We can't make it any plainer than that. Sound like little Dana Dane, right? Can't make it any plainer than that. Cannot express it any plainer. Right? I'm not going to do slow-mo yet. I'm not going to do it right now. Right? But here we go. So again, the dark-skinned Hebrews found great beauty in a clear complexion. And this is coming from the International Standard Encyclopedia, 1915. And guys, you could get this source. This is free. You could download it. Add this into your talking points when you're dealing with loved ones that don't want to listen, when they insist, believing that the ancient Israelites are Caucasians or non-melanated or have no pigmentation in their skin, little to none. So are there any clues? Yes, I gave you a clue, but you guys remember this scripture here. This is one of those passages that those that try to speak against this awakening try to say that this verse right here has nothing to do with skin complexion. I beg to differ. And I'm going to break down this verse for you guys so you understand exactly that what it means here. They are referring to skin complexion. They're dealing with a time of mourning, but I'm going to give you clarity of that time of mourning. And they're also dealing with another situation that's causing them to look the way that they look. So Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2, right? Judah mourneth, Abal, and the gates thereof languish. Amal, they are blackened to the ground. Arat Tazah, or some would say Arat. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Let me read that again. And this is ancient Hebrew, family. I'm pronouncing this in ancient Hebrew. Judah mourneth, and the gates of thereof languish. They are blackened to the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. This makes absolutely no sense for someone to say this entire passage is dealing with mourning, because we see Abal mourning, language still dealing with mourning. They are blackened to the ground. This is where we start getting into this is where it gives you more clarity of exactly what it means, especially when you understand the word that's here, quadar. I didn't put it here, quadar. So this is comparing their skin complexion to the ground, to the actual current state of the ground. And I'm going to prove it to you. Let me say that again. This passage is actually describing how Judah is mourning right here. Their language is also telling you just how they're sickly, right? They are blackened to the ground. So this is saying quadar, unto the ground. This is comparing their skin to the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. Let me break it down. Abal. It means to bewail, lament, mourn. Now, you notice that you don't see sackcloth and ashes, right? But I am going to show you something here that tells you they didn't have sackcloth and ashes, but guess what? There was something else that was very ashy. And I'm going to deal with that in a second. So the Hebrew definition of language, amal, notice what it says here. To droop, implication, to be sick. So they're mourning. It says Judah is mourning. They are sick. Follow me here. To droop, by implication, to be sick, be weak, wax feeble, right? And I'm going to tell you, some of you guys can relate to this. Because see, I grew up, you know, in a house with 14 brothers and sisters, you know what I mean? 14 of us in the house. And then we throw my grandmother into it, you know, and my uncle that would be there from time to time, but also my uncle Jeffrey, throw them. We had a large family growing up in North New Jersey. And there was times that we was so hungry that all we could do is eat, sleep. Sometimes we just drink water to try to kill what we call the hunger pain. Many days we just had rice to eat. You know, can you guys imagine? See, some of you guys may not be able to imagine, but there was times when me and my brothers and cousins, we're all sitting around, you know, sitting around a table, as kids, you know, with rice on our plate and trying to visualize the rice, our imagination's running wild, pretending that the rice is something else. One to cry out, "Hey, I got chicken on my plate." Another one would cry, I got pizza on my plate, and we'll divide the rice up like it's pizza and eat it that way. We'll start screaming out things that we want to eat. And you know you're on hard times when a black person, right, have to visualize eating chicken, right? Eating chicken. But guess what? When you hungry, it makes you weak. When you hungry, sometimes we've been so hungry at times that our backs will literally be hurting. You're weak because you really don't have no substance inside your stomach, inside your body to give you that extra strength. See, nobody could tell me about hard times. I dealt with hard times. I grew up in hard times. But I thank the Most High for a praying grandmother who taught us how to navigate through it. So this is where it says Amal. That's what it means right here. It means that they were sick. We see languish. Languish is saying that they were sick, they were weak, they were droopy. So Judah is displaying a passionate display of grief, right? A passionate display of grief. And their gates, their cities are weak, right? And they are sick, right? They are weak, they are sick. The people are sick as well. But notice this, the key word right here, quadar. Quadar. Let's see what quadar means, right? To be ashy, an example, dark color. Come on, family. And you want us to erase this right here, bypass this and go straight to mourn? No, it doesn't work that way. You want us to say, oh, no, they not, this means that they're mourning, sackcloth and ashes. No, this is saying that to be ashy. Come on, family. You guys know how it feels to be ashy, especially if you have some dark tone like I do. You guys know how I feel if you don't, my grandmother, man, whenever we had to take baths, whenever we took a bath and, you get out that tub, guess what? You have to put that Vaseline on, right? She made you put Vaseline and lotion on to make sure that your skin wasn't ashy. But if you forget to put that that lotion on, that Vaseline on, guess what? And you walk outside or that air hits you, you know how your skin complexion is going to change. Your skin complexion is going to become ashy. Let me say that again. Your skin complexion is going to turn ashy. So what this is saying is that Israel, right? Their skin became ashy. They were sick and their skin was ashy. They was dark and ashy. Notice what it says, to be ashy, an example, dark color. By implication, mourn. This is saying this can also be mourn, but we're not dealing with this right here. This is not sackcloth and ashes. This is not that type of situation. Black, it says be black. So this is making it clear that Israel, Judah, Yahweh, they are ashy, dark and ashy. To be ashy, an example, dark color. So guess what? They didn't put anything over their face to look this way. They are by natural, by the state of the conditions, they're already dark people, but they're sick. Why are they sick? That's the question we should ask. Well, here's the answer. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2 is describing Judah's physical appearance during a famine. During a famine. Now, here's an image. This is from Somalia. This is during a famine, right? Notice the skin complexion. They all, this mother and her children, they're dark. But notice that they're what? Dark and ashy. This is an example of what Quadar means. Dark and ashy. Don't let anyone try to fool you with this nonsense saying that this strictly means mourn. No, this doesn't mean mourn from this perspective. They're mourning, they're sick, right? They're looking sickly, and their skin is being compared to the ground. Their skin is ashy, and to be ashy, that means that your skin is chapped like the ground, like a ground that has no water, a drought. So again, that's the appearance. That's how they look. This is an example of how Judah looked, Israel looked during this famine. So when we go to verse 3 and 4 of the same chapter, notice what it says. And their nobles have sent their little ones to the waters. They came to the pits and found no water. Maya found no water. They returned with their vessels, kalai, empty. Rayaquam, they were ashamed and confounded and covered their heads. They covered their heads. They were ashamed of their appearance because they're dark and ashy. They're looking sickly. Let me go back to this image right here. Let me go back here. Right? Covered the heads. Because I'm sure her hair is looking stringy. Now, of course, quite naturally, in many countries, the women cover their hair. But notice, and this is not trying to, and I want to make sure I'm not mocking, I'm not making fun, because no, I've been in this position. But showing you this is what it means. They as you can see, they're in a drought. They look sickly because they're not eating. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Right? So this is Judah. That is an image of Judah. It says they were ashamed and confounded and covered their heads because of the ground. Adamah is chapped. Kathath. Kathah. For there was no rain in the earth. The plowmen were ashamed. They covered their heads. So notice what it says here. The ground is chapped. So Judah, guess what? Quadar, they're mourning, they're languished, they're mourning, right? They're sick. Their skin is what? Chapped like the ground. Their skin looks like the ground, dry and chapped. That's what it means. So if we go to the Hebrew definition of chapped, you're not going to really get much from here. But the key though is to be shattered, to be broken. Because that's how their skin is going to look, right? Because when we see that word chapped, right, it's going to look like the skin is shattered. It's going to look like the skin is what? Broken. If you're not careful, especially if you have ashy lips, you don't put some chapstick on. Man, don't let anyone make you laugh. You don't have chapstick on and you laughing, and you smiling, your lips all dry. Man, you gonna have some sores. Right? So to be shattered, to be broken. But let me go to the etymology dictionary definition of this word chap. Notice what it says. Cause to split or crack. Right? So this is telling you that their skin complexion is what? It's cracked. They have cracked skin. That's what chapped is. It's cracked skin. It's dry. So Judah is displaying a passionate display of grief. In their gates, their cities are weak, right? They are sick. They are droopy. And they are dark and ashy like the ground. That's exactly what it means. That's exactly what that text means. That's exactly what that text means. But let's continue. So what's the biblical Israelite skin complexion? We already know what it is. I gave you the answer. But let's go to Amos chapter 9, verse 7. Right? You guys already know this. This is coming from the Tanakh, Jewish Bible, 1917 publications. But notice what it says. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Saith Yahweh, have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt? But the key is, right? We see, are ye not as, and we see this characteristics, right? The children of Israel unto me, O children of Israel, right? Biblical comparison. Behold, you are like the Ethiopians to me. We see like characteristics, O children of Israel, right? Like the Ethiopians. But what is the characteristics of the Ethiopians? Starting with what? Their skin complexion. This is why in Jeremiah you see, can an Ethiopian change its skin? Can a leopard or whatever change its spots? So the Hebrew definition of Cushi, right, or Kawash or Kawashai, but let's go with the word Cushi, right? The Hebrew definition of it. Notice what it says. Cushi, Cushite, Ethiopians. Cushi or Ethiopians. See Cushan, their blackness. So this is telling you that this word Cushi, right, can transliterate to being an Ethiopian, a Cushite, but it also can be used to describe Israel or people of color by saying, hey, Cushan, right? Right? This dealing with the color of their skin. Now we know in Israel, as I pointed out, this word is a slang over there. Let me see if I still have the video on here, and I'll play it for you real quick. In Israel, this word is a slang over there. I think I took it down. I thought I left it up there, but I think I took it down. Oh no, here it is. Let me play it for you, right? They use this word interchangeable with the word nigger. Pay attention. Watch this.
להתחיל לאסוף את המסתננים, לא צריך לחכות לבג"ץ, לא צריך שום דבר.
אני רואה חרא מחוץ לבית שלי, יריקות, פסיכופטים, אנשים שרק מחפשים איך לרצוח אותי בעיניים שלהם, אבל אף אחד לא מאמין לנו. אנחנו גזענים כדי לרצות לשמור על החיים שלנו ועל השפיות שלנו. אז אני גאה בלהיות גזענית, אם אני גזענית בשביל לשמור על החיים שלי, אז אני
את עם קושי לנסוע! את נשואה עם קושי! לכי את והוא! תלכי מפה! תלכי! את נשואה עם קושי! לכי! לא מתביישת!
Come on, family. How come we don't hear anyone talking about this? How come we don't hear anyone talking about this? You heard them screaming, saying that they are proud to be racist. They are racist. You hear them saying that they are racist. Similar to the clip I uploaded yesterday. You know, family, let's try not to get sidetracked with some of the conversations here to take away from the overall presentation. Let's not be a distraction. You know, let's make sure that we stand in queue. All right. So because I'm seeing some things here, and I would address it, but I'm not taking the discussion outside of it. We could deal with Esau in another lesson. It's not about dealing with Esau right now. Right now, we're dealing with explaining KRS-One statement. So family, let's try not to get into these distractions, these conversations. And that's one of the things that can hinder our people a lot. It's because we have something that we are dealing with, and then we get distracted. We allow other things, side narratives, pull us away from our overall objective. Right now, we're not dealing with Esau. I could deal with Esau another time. and I'll do a thorough teaching on Esau and show you and prove to you that Esau is not Caucasians. You still got Edomites that's right over there in Africa right now that look dark, that are dark just like you and I. So let's not get caught up in there. Let's not right now major in a minor thing right now. Right now, let's deal with the overall narrative. Let's deal with what KRS-One said. He said that the Egyptians enslaved black Cushites instead of Israelites. So let's stay on it, family. Don't get, because sometimes we can get worked up and get distracted. Let's stay to what we're dealing with right now, and we'll do a lesson on Esau. We'll do a full teaching on Esau. All right. Appreciate you, family, but let's just stay focused, family. Let's not get caught up in the side conversation that's pulling you away from the actual information that's being shared. So we see here Cushi, and as you heard, it's a derogative. They use it as a slang, right? It's not this word is not a bad word, but it's been made a bad word. As you see that they were threatening the woman, right, who married, as they called, a Cushi, and they said nigger, right? They even threatened to rape her. And then the last guy, Jewish guy, as we know, I'll just say Israeli, threatened to put a pole, sodomize the man with a pole, brother man with a pole. Right? Those are the things that we deal with as a people. That's what we deal with as a people. Other people can use all kinds of things, insult us in all kinds of ways. But as soon as we speak up, all of a sudden, all the attention is drawn to us. How come we don't see anyone from the church dealing with this stuff? I've been posting a lot of stuff, purposely trying to see if they're going to talk about it. They want to go in about the camps, having people kiss their feet, white people insisting to kiss their feet. Well, I show pictures of the Pope insisting to kiss people's feet. All of them wasn't at a foot washing of feet. He's literally bowing down, getting on his knees to kiss somebody's feet with their shoes on. And I got more images of that. But when we talk about, but yet they use that to go in on the camps. Now, I don't support the One West doctrine. I don't. But at the same time, I'm not going to throw our brothers and sisters up under the bus. And I'm sure not everyone is going to agree with what I teach. But guess what? It's still my brothers. They still our brothers and sisters. But why don't we see them going after the Catholic Church for what I shared? How come we don't see that? How come we don't see that? How come we don't see them going after them even with what I just shared here? Even when yesterday, the video, you got Israelis inside the video saying that paying homage to Hitler and quoting a number of things that Hitler has said. But yet they go after the camps. Oh, the camps are referring to Hitler. Hitler. No, wait a minute. What about some of those within the Jewish community? Refer to Hitler as being a righteous person. Anyway, let's get back to it because I got to get ready to take it down here. All right. So Cushi or Ethiopian says, see Cushan, their blackness. Right. So see Cushan, their blackness. So when we go to Cushan, notice what it says here. Region of Cush, Arabia Cush. But notice that you see here again, their blackness. That's the key. Their blackness, their dark skin. Right. We see this this word here in Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 7. Right. When we're dealing with Cushan. Right. I saw tents of Cushan. Right. Dark, black, melanated. Right. So when we go back to Amos chapter 9, verse 7, right, this is another book right here, a great book you could get, great translation here. This is the Prophet Naveen, a new translation of the Holy Scriptures, but it's still based off of like the 1917 Tanakh, right? It's the translation is as old as that, and it, pretty much comparable. Okay. But notice what it says here. To me, O Israelites, you are just like the Ethiopians, declares Yahweh, declares, as you see here, the Lord. just like the Ethiopians, look just like the Ethiopians. Okay, Isaiah chapter 18, verse 1 through 3. Right? Woe to the land. And I want to use this for a reason because KRS-One said that the Egyptians enslaved black Cushites. Right? So we already know that the word Cushite refers to an Ethiopian. We also know that the word means dark skin. So woe to the land shadowing, right? Tazal or Sal or Salah, however you want to pronounce it, with wings, which is beyond Kanap Yam, the rivers, Nahar of Ethiopia, Kawash, in the Israeli pronunciation, Kush or Cush. So woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, right? But again, Ethiopia, that's not an ancient word. It's actually Kawash. That's the ancient word. But for the sake of the conversation, we're going to deal with Ethiopia. That sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go ye sith, messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see ye, when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye. Right? So many will teach this passage, many will teach this, especially from within the church, will teach this text that Isaiah is actually prophesying judgment against the ancient nation of the Ethiopians. I beg to differ. That's not what this is not referring to the Ethiopians in this passage. I'm going to show you why. Right? Somewhere around 714 BC, King So or Shabako conquered and established the 25th dynasty. Ethiopia maintained its control over Egypt until 633 BC, when the Egyptians, Psammetichus, recaptured the throne and put an end to Ethiopian domination. Does this sound like the entire nation, the entire group of Ethiopians were enslaved by the Egyptians? Is this a prophecy spoken concerning the Ethiopians or Israel? Guess what? There is another passage that gives clarity that says beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. This prophecy spoken by another prophet. It is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 9 and 10. And notice what it says. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that ye may all call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughters of my dispersed shall bring mine offerings. So from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. So that passage I shared with you prior to it, that Isaiah passage, has nothing to do with a prophecy for Ethiopia. It is a prophecy for Israel. So from beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, right? Some of you guys probably seen this map before. Beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, right? We know that, for starters, this entire continent at one time was called Ethiopia. The ocean, as you see here, Oceanus, and we see here Ethiopicus. We see that this ocean, this is where you get the Atlantic, eighth, right? This eighth, this is where you get ether. Ethiops, ether, burned face, Eops, right? Eighth, burned, Eop, that's face, burned face, right? That's what it means. So when you see the word ether means to burn. So the word Ethiopian basically simply means, especially when we see Ethiopics or Ethiopics or Ethiopics, that means what? Burned faces, right? But anyway, so when we understand this, this is dealing with Ethiopia, right? The ocean. So beyond, not just the rivers that separate Ethiopia here, but beyond, we go beyond the rivers of what? Ethiopia. We see the Ethiopian Ocean here. Before it was called the Atlantic Ocean. Right? And this map is 1644. So we know that this whole continent went through a number of changes in terms of its title, because many cases it's because whatever culture, whatever community or nation was the dominant nation. We know it went through a number of changes. We know that Akibalan, Africa comes from, the name Africa comes from Abraham and his wife Keturah's son, Afar. Right? We see Ethiopia or Ethiopics, right? Because that, you know, if you study the works of James Adair, he describes the Native Americans or the Aboriginals here in this side of the waters beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, looking like Ethiopians, because guess what? At this time, this land, this continent was referred to as Ethiopia, the entire land. So that was the standard. Whenever they came across other communities that looked like what? Ethiopia, that was the standard. So anyway, I just wanted to show you this map. So did the Egyptians enslave Black Cushites? Let me give you one more source before we wrap up. This is Flavius Josephus, the works of Josephus, right? Let's see what he says here. And many of you guys may not know this, especially about Moses, him being a general. You may not know this portion of the history. I encourage you guys to pick up this work and read it, you know, give you more insight. This is from the historian Josephus. And notice what it says: how Moses made war with the Ethiopians. Moses, therefore, when he was born and brought up in the foregoing manner and came to the age of maturity, made his virtue manifest to the Egyptians and showed that he was born for the bringing them down and raising the Israelites, right? Bringing them down and raising the Israelites. So this tells you that Moses always knew his identity. And the occasion he laid hold of was this: the Ethiopians, who are next neighbors to the Egyptians, made an inroad into their country, which they seized upon. Now, this is dealing with a fight between the Ethiopians and the Egyptians. Let me read it. The Ethiopians, who are next neighbors to the Egyptians, made an inroad into their country, which they seized upon, and carried off the effects of the Egyptians, who in their rage fought against them, and revenged the affronts, the bringing them down and raising the Israelites. Wait a minute. That's wrong right there. That's a duplicate. Fronts. My apologies, family. Anyway, they have received from them, but being overcome in battle, some of them were slain, and the rest ran away in a shameful manner, and by that means saved themselves, whereupon the Ethiopians followed after them in pursuit. So this is telling you that the Ethiopians invaded a territory of the Egyptians and conquered them, defeated them, and chased. As you see here, the Ethiopians followed after them in pursuit, and thinking that it would be a mark of cowardice if they did not subdue all Egypt, they went on to subdue the rest with greater vehemence. And when they had tasted the sweets of the country, they never left off the persecution of the war. And as the nearest parts had not courage enough at first to fight with them, they proceeded as far as Memphis and the sea itself, while not one of the cities were able to oppose them. So this is telling you just how strong the Ethiopians were. They actually defeated the Egyptians here in this passage for this territory, this area. So did the Egyptians enslave black Cushites? Let's finish this source up. There's more I can go into, but I'm not going to do for the sake of time. But notice what it says. Now, when the Egyptian army had once tasted of this prosperous success by the means of Moses, in other words, Moses led them to victory, they did not slacken their diligence insomuch that the Ethiopians were in danger of being reduced to slavery. But they weren't slaves because there was something that took place here, an agreement, right? Not going to talk about it tonight. In so much that the Ethiopians were in danger of being reduced to slavery and all sorts of destruction. And at length, they retired to Sabah, which was a royal city of Ethiopia, which Cambyses, excuse me if I butchered the name, afterwards named Miro, after the name of his own sister. The place was to be besieged with very great difficulty, since it was both encompassed by the Nile quite round, and the other river Astapus and Astaboras made it a very difficult thing for such as attempted to pass over them. For the city was situate in a retire. So it's saying how fortified the area was. That's all that's pointing out, right? So, but in a nutshell, family, you know, the Egyptians didn't hold captive the people of Ethiopia. Now, of course, there may have been, servants and slaves there at one time, but they did not have the entire country in captivity. That's a lie. That's not accurate. That's not facts at all. The Egyptians did not have the Ethiopians in captivity. And I'm just going to stop right here. So I went through this to show you, to make sure you understand that KRS-One is completely incorrect when he say that the Egyptians, Pharaoh enslaved black Cushites. So let's make sure that we put things in its proper perspective, family. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. I wanted to talk to you about the teaching that KRS-One had given. Well, not teaching, but what he said, his kind of playing the fence, or actually, I'm not even going to say play the fence. He completely changed on his comments, of that song, to saying that the Egyptians enslaved black Cushites. I'll play it again for those that are coming in late, and we get ready to wrap up here. But thank you guys for watching this. Let me play this again, the second part of the video, for those that haven't heard it.
According to Genesis chapter 10, Egyptians descended from Ham. 600 years later, my brothers, leave up. Moses is born in Egypt. In this era, black Egyptians weren't right. They enslaved black Cushites. Moses had to be of the black race because he spent 40 years in Pharaoh's place. He passed as the Pharaoh's grandson, so he had to look just like him. Yes, my brothers and sisters, take this here song. No, correct or wrong. The information we get today is just, but ask yourself.
You see what I'm going at with this? This is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Right? So if he said Cushites without putting black in it, then maybe I would have thought about, well, what he's saying is that the Egyptians enslaved black people. Blacks enslaving black. Then I would have been like, okay, I see what he's saying. But he said black Cushites. When did the Ethiopians change their skin? when did the Ethiopians become colonized? You know, absolutely. That was intentional. That's right. That was very intentional. That was very intentional. And you can hear in the background the people booing. You heard some boos in there. You heard some people saying, what? Or whoa. That was very intentional. That was very intentional, family. So again, this is not sitting here to throw shots at KRS-One, to bash him. This has nothing to do with any personal attacks on him. This is just dealing with what he said, doctrine. And I want you guys to make sure you guys understand that this is why we got to make sure that we study. Because if we don't, you know, you can cheer on something that's just completely out of left field and not know it. Right? You know, those lies, those deceptions, not easily recognized right off the top because it's going to look so good. It's going to seem right. It's going to sound convincing. It's going to sound convincing. You know, yeah, M. Kyle's trying to hard to contact him. I definitely want to do an interview with him. Would love to talk to him. You know, I would love to have him on here to give clarity, because I would ask the question of asking him, hey, can you just explain to this here, go through the history of some of his songs and ask him to go. I mean, can he explain this here? Why go from saying Israelites, black Israelites, to black Cushites? All right. So I would definitely like him to come on. You know, if anyone have a way of contacting him, let him know. I'd like to. Pastor Kelly Richardson would love to have him on here to explain some of the things that he's primarily interview him, of course, get an overview, introduce him to the newer generation, but have him give clarity on why he changed the wording, why he went from saying black Israelites to black Cushites. You know, I'd be interested to hear what he have to say towards that. But again, family, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover tonight. I'm not going to hold you guys up, but really appreciate you guys for, being up late. I know this is a last minute playbook, and if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up, email me. But thank you again. Thank you everyone for the contributions. Thank you guys for the love and support of the platform, in spite of all what YouTube has done to try to suppress this channel. And Facebook has been doing a lot of crazy stuff too, and not getting into all of that. But really appreciate you, family. With that being said, in the words of Moses to the children of Israel, when they had come out of Egypt and they came to what seemed to be a dead end, Moses said to the people in Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 and 14, he said, "Fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of Yahweh. These Egyptians that you see here today, you will never have to deal with them ever again." He said, the Most High will fight for you, but you have to hold your peace. And the Hebrew word there is charash, which means be quiet. Family, we have to learn how to be quiet. Right? We have to learn how to be quiet, hold our peace. Can't go back, can't stay here. Keep moving forward. Shalom.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11, verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14, verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was the... Jacob had 12 sons. for real. And these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10. These were the children of Israel.